I will introduce what is channel coding techniques or channel coding methods in digital communications. So first I will introduce what is channel coding method and why it is used in digital communication, and then I will discuss what are the different types of channel coding methods. For example, linear block codes, binary cyclic codes, and convolution codes. Of course, linear block codes and cyclic codes both comes under same category. That means cyclic codes are subclass of block codes, and then convolution codes, which is a different one. But here in this particular lecture session, I will discuss about what is channel coding method, and out of these types of channel coding method, I will completely discuss about linear block codes. How can we encode by using these codes, that is encoding method, and how to decode by using syndrome decoding. So I will explain both encoding and decoding procedures along with the number of examples. Okay. So before going to this linear block codes, just let us understand what is channel coding technique and how it is useful in digital communication. Now let us see the channel coding technique or techniques are used to detect and correct errors in the transmission of digital communication system. What is here the main purpose of this channel coding technique is to detect and correct errors. Okay, so detection of error and correction of errors. So why we need to detect and correct errors, that we'll see in the next discussion. So this is the main purpose. So to provide reliable data transmission over a noisy channel, we need some extra bits which are added to the original bit sequence to provide error control. So these extra bits are called as parity bits or check bits. And the main function of the error control coding, here error control coding is also known as channel coding. Okay, it is a different name or other name of channel coding technique. So what is the main function? Detection of error and detecting the position of error and correction of error. Okay. So on the whole, from this particular discussion, we'll understand that channel coding techniques are used especially for detection and correction of error. Now we'll see why error occurred, why we need to detect and correct errors. So let us see what is the necessity of this error detection and correction in digital communication. Okay. So now when you see the complete block diagram of a digital communication system, and if you observe all the elements, so this is what the complete elements of a digital communication system. For example, if you start from a source, let us consider you are all having with the digital devices. Okay. For example, it may be a mobile phone or a computer or a laptop. So let us consider you are sending some message from your mobile phone to some other mobile phone which is there at the destination. So from your mobile phone to some other mobile phone, you are sending some message. So let us see how that message is transmitted and communicated to the destination mobile by using this digital communication elements. Okay. So let us consider it is a source which is known as a discrete source. So from this discrete source, so let us consider it as a mobile. So from that mobile keypad, you are going to type some message. So that message will be typed in the form of symbols, numbers, special characters, etc. Okay. So let us say your message is sending from this discrete source like set of symbols. So you can type A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, and so on. Okay. Depending on your message, you will type some text. So you can consider this is a source which will generate discrete number of symbols one after the other. That's why it is known as a discrete source. So let us assume some symbols are generating from the source, and that is applied to the source encoder. So this purpose of source encoder is to assign some group of bits to each and every symbol which is coming from this discrete source or from your mobile phone. For example, from your mobile phone, you are going to send some message. In that message, you clearly observe that the message contains some number of symbols. So each symbol is separately encoded with some group of bits. And finally, for the entire message, there will be some sequence of bits which is obtained after the source encoder. So simply source encoder purpose is to convert these symbols into bits. That's it. So finally, at the end of encoder, source encoder will have some sequence of bits like this. Let us say there will be some 5 bits left. Okay. Now this bit sequence is sent to the channel encoder. So what is the purpose of channel encoder here and what it does in the digital communication? Okay. So whenever these message bits are applied to channel encoder, in this channel encoder, some extra bits are added to the original bit sequence. So for example, this is what the original bit sequence. So some 3 bits, some extra bits are added so that the channel encoder will give some more bits additionally. For example, 5 plus 3, which will be 8 bits. So these 8 bits are obtained after the channel encoder. So based on this 8-bit sequence only, we need to apply a modulator. We need to apply a modulator, maybe a amplitude shift keying, frequency shift keying, phase shift keying, either ASK, FSK, or PSK. Those kind of any type of digital modulation technique can be applied so that this digital data is finally modulated in the form of a carrier wave like this. If, for example, if it is ASK, this will be the modulated output. So this modulated output is transmitted through the channel. So here the channel is considered as a free space. Okay. So in the free space, there may be a possibility of adding noise. So due to that noise, so in the demodulation process, this must be demodulated from this modulated signal. So that means demodulator must be reversed this. So modulated signal must be converted into original input digital data. But here, after demodulation, because of the noise, you will get some errors. You will get some errors in the output of the demodulation. So the errors are nothing but, so if 11010101 is the original bit sequence, because of the noise in the channel, you will get errors after the demodulation. That means instead of 1, you may receive 0 at this particular position, or instead of 0 here, you may receive 1 at this particular position. So that means there will be some mistakes after the demodulation. So let us consider that error data which is received as Y and the transmitted data after the channel encoder is X. So this is the original digital input before modulation. This is the received data after the demodulation. Definitely we'll get some errors because of the noise in the channel. So now, without changing or without correcting these errors, if you transmit this directly to the source decoder and destination, so definitely at the destination you will receive error data. That means instead of actual message what the sender sent to you at the receiver mobile phone, you will receive a different message. That is a mistake message or error message or a wrong message, or sometimes some symbols may be missed. So that means there will be a different data or noisy data which is received at the destination without use of this channel decoder. So that's why we are inserting here channel decoder. This purpose of channel decoder is, first it will identify where the error is. So it will detect the error. So it identify that here there is an error, here there is an error, like that it will identify. And finally, after identification of error, automatically this channel decoder will correct this. So that means instead of 0, if you receive 1 here, automatically that 1 will be again corrected to 0. So that after the channel decoder, the corrected data which will be produced here, and then after removing these parity bits, this is the original message will be received after the channel decoder. So that means channel decoder will detect error, correct error, and remove parity bits. Finally, this will be obtained exactly, that is 11010 exactly will be received, and the source decoder will convert back these bits into symbols like AB, and that AB sequence, that is a message, will be perfectly received at the destination. So here the final goal of this channel encoder and decoder is to detect error and correct error. That means error detection and error correction, we use these two, that is channel encoder and decoder. So combinedly channel encoder and decoder we can call as channel coding technique. Okay. Now if you carefully observe, in order to detect and correct errors in the channel decoder, from the transmitter side, you must add some extra bits which are known as parity bits. So because of this parity bits only, because of this additional bits only, this channel decoder can able to identify errors and correct errors. Okay, that's why in the transmitter side we are adding some extra bits. So this is the final purpose of channel coding technique in the digital communication system. This is very useful and important. Now let us see the types of channel coding methods. So one of the type is linear block codes, other one is cyclic codes and convolution codes. Now we'll see what is a linear block. And by using linear block coding method, how can you add these parity bits and how to detect and correct errors in the channel decoders. So both encoding process and decoding process will be discussing in this session. Okay. So before linear block codes, before linear block code operations, so we need to understand some parameters. So without that, it is very difficult to understand the complete encoding and decoding processes. That's why first we'll see some parameters that are required to analyze the coding operations. First thing is, what is a code word? What is a code word? A code word is nothing but combination of message bits and parity bits. Or simply you can say that a combination of bits can be simply called as a code word. Okay. So here, which is also a combination of message bits and parity bits. If message bits and parity bits both are combined like this total code word can also be called as block code or simply code word, right? So for example, for n comma k block code, what is the meaning of this n comma k? Every block code is represented with notations n comma k in brackets, where n is nothing but number of bits in the code word. What is the number of bits in the code word means? After the channel encoder, so after adding some parity bits, you'll get some number of bits in this code word. So these number of bits are called as n. And similarly k, number of bits in the message sequence. Here, what is the number of bits in the message sequence? That is nothing but input of the channel encoder. The input of the channel encoder is nothing but message bits. Here, what is the meaning of message bits here? So these 5 bits should be considered as message bits. So k is the number of messages. So based on the number of message bits and number of outputs or number of bits in the code word, you can represent like n comma k. And q is nothing but n minus k, that is the number of parity bits in the code word. For example, if it is k, that is the number of bits in the message, that is 5 bits, and this is n, the number of bits in the code word, that is 8. So if you want to know how many number of parity bits are added in this channel encoder, then the simple process is number of bits in the code word minus number of messages. So 8 minus 5 automatically it will be equal to 3. Okay. So that is the way of calculating the parity bit simply. So that is n minus k, number of parity bits in the code. For example, if you consider this is the code word having 7 bits, so n equal to 7, and in this code word it contains the combination of message bits and parity bits. So blue color lines are message bits and extra added parity bits are nothing but these 3 bits. Okay, let us assume like that. So these 4 bits represents message bits, that is k equal to 4. So that's why this code is set to be 7,4 block code. And if you want to identify what are the how many number of parity bits are added here from this representation without looking at the number of bits or a code word, just from this representation we can able to identify number of parity bits. That is q is equal to n minus k, simply n minus k is equal to 3, right? Next, what is the meaning of code rate? Code rate is nothing but k by n, that is number of bits in the message by number of bits in the code word simply. Next, Hamming weight. What is the meaning of Hamming weight? Number of non-zero elements in the code word, or simply non-zero means every code is represented with either 1 or 0. Number of non-zero means ones only. So the number of ones in a code word is nothing but Hamming weight. For example, in this code, what is the Hamming weight is? So how many number of non-zero elements? How many number of ones? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Hamming weight is 5. That is simple observation. Next, Hamming distance. It is D. What is the meaning of Hamming distance? The number of locations in which the respective elements of two code words will differ. That is nothing but Hamming distance. That means if you observe, these are the two code words. In these two code words, how many number of locations they are different? For example, in this this location they are same, but here they are different, same, different, and same. So in 3 locations, these 2 code words are different. So Hamming distance is equal to 3. Similarly, what is the minimum Hamming distance or minimum distance? So minimum Hamming distance, the minimum value of all Hamming distance from all code words is called as minimum Hamming distance. So if we calculate D from all these set of code words, for example, from these 2 code words, what is D? What is D? So 1, 2, 3. So from these 3 locations, they are different. So Hamming distance is equal to 3. Similarly, find the Hamming distance from the successive code words. Like that, we identified 3 Hamming distances, 3, 3, 4. Out of all these, what is the minimum value of the Hamming distance? That is nothing but D minimum. So that is 3. So this is very important in order to observe the capability of a codes. So next we'll see error detection and correction capabilities of a code. For example, if you want to know your channel coding technique, if you want to know the capability of your channel coding technique, so that capability means how many errors it can detect. Similarly, how many errors it can correct. Right? For example, if this is a code word, in this code word, for example, 3 errors are occurred. So 3 bits are mistakenly received at the receiver side. So if you want to identify whether your implemented code is able to detect these 3 errors, or it will detect only 1 error, or 2 errors, or 3 errors. So how to know? So that is identified by this equations. How many errors it can detect and how many errors it can correct. So if a code can correct up to S errors per word, then it must satisfy the minimum distance requirement such that D minimum is greater than or equal to S plus 1. Hence, S is less than or equal to D minimum minus 1, where S is number of errors that the code can detect. Number of errors that the code can detect. Okay. So if you want to know how many errors it can detect, then simply use this formula, where D minimum is nothing but minimum value of all Hamming distances. It can be calculated from this analysis. Similarly, like this, we have another formula. So this is nothing but which is used to calculate how many number of errors that the code can correct. That is T less than or equal to D minimum minus 1 by 2. Just this is by 2. That's it. Okay. For example, if S is less than or equal to 3, that means it indicates that this code can correct up to 3 errors. Sorry, it can detect up to 3 errors. Only detection. If the code is identified and detected 3 errors, out of these 3 errors, if T less than or equal to 1 means out of these 3 errors, it can correct only 1 error. So remaining 2 errors, it cannot correct. Only 1 error it can correct. That is the capability meaning. That is the capability of this particular code. So the code can detect up to 3 errors, but only correct 1 error. Okay. So like that, you can able to identify these values. This is only an example. What I am saying. So you can calculate based on the D minimum value. You can calculate how many errors it can detect, how many errors it can correct. So anyway, we'll see this in coming examples. Now let us see what is the linear block code. As I already said that linear block code is represented with the notation n comma k. So n comma k block code indicates that the code word has n number of bits and k is the number of bits for the original message. A code is said to be linear. What is the meaning of linear block code? I already said that block code is nothing but combination of message bits and parity bits. For example, this is the message bits. Immediately after message bits, parity bits will be added. So if these two are combined like this code word is also called as block code. If a block code is said to be linear, that is a linear block code, then a block code or a code is said to be a linear if 2 code words in the code or if 2 code words in the set of codes can be added in modular to arithmetic to produce a third code word in the code. So don't worry about this statement. For example, if you observe this, so these are the set of code words which are generated from the linear block code or from any code. If this code is said to be linear block code, then the condition is by adding these two or by adding any 2 code words, the resultant will be another code word in the same set. For example, if you add these two, then the result may be any of these two. Similarly, if you add these two, the result may be any of these two. So that means addition of any two code words will give you a different code word. Here the addition, always remember that addition in all these coding operations, that must be assumed as XOR operation or modulo 2 addition. Okay, so always consider plus sign is represented with XOR operation, or you can say modulo 2 addition. That's why it's saying that modulo 2 addition of two code words will give you another code. Similarly, the parity bits of linear block codes are linear combination of message bits. That means these parity bits can be obtained by making a linear combination of these message bits. For example, 0 can be obtained by 1 XOR with 0, okay, XOR with 1, which is equal to 0. So like that, these parity bits can also be obtained by taking a linear combination of these. Linear combination means in between these elements you can add plus plus plus. You can take all 4 combinations, all 3 combinations, all 2 combinations, etc. So that plus sign must be indicated with XOR operation, right? So therefore, we can represent the encoder by linear system described by matrices. So because we are using a linear combination, so you can easily describe by matrices. So that's why all the linear block codes are represented in the form of matrices. Okay. So anyway, what I have explained in these statements, I will again explain by looking at by taking an examples. Don't worry. Now look at this, how the linear block codes are represented in the form of matrices, and in the same discussion, I will explain what is the encoding procedure. Okay. Here encoding procedure is very simple for linear block code. Here encoding means, let us once again look at this introduction. Encoding of channel coding technique by using linear block code is nothing but finding this particular code word, right? Finding this particular code word after adding the parity bits to the message bits. Okay. After adding the parity bits to the original message, this code word must be generated. So the way of generating these code word will be different depending on the type of the channel coding method. If it is the linear block code, the obtaining this code word is different. If it is cyclic code, the way this code is obtained is different. But in linear block code, for example, for n, k linear block code, the set of code words can be obtained by using linear block codes are obtained by the following matrix representation. So that means the code word is directly obtained by just a matrix multiplication of message bits and some generator matrix. So consider all these are represented in the form of matrices. How? There M is a k-bit message vector. Okay, so that means the message bits, for example, 1011 are the message bits what we are applying to the input to the channel encoder. So let us consider this is the message bits. So this must be represented in the form of matrix. Okay, this must be represented in the form of matrix, and let us say the matrix is M. Now this matrix is going to be multiplied by the another matrix which is defined by the channel encoder what we are using here. So when this message vector, that is M and G, both are multiplied, so when these two matrices are multiplied, finally the code word is obtained like this. So that's why here there is a matrix multiplication. So M is multiplied with G. What is G here? G is a generator matrix which is defined by the designer, which is represented by K by N matrix. So G is multiplied with M so that X will be produced. So what is X here? X is nothing but a n-bit code word or a code word that is obtained after the encoder. So this code word obtained finally after the encoder is known as X, containing some n bits, and message bits contain k bits. So that is the n, k block code, right? So finally X is the n-bit code word. In that code word, it contains totally n number of message bits, sorry, n number of code bits. In that n, The k bits are nothing but message bits. After k message bits, there will be n minus k parity bits. As you already know that number of parity bits will be calculated as n minus k. So if you represent first message bits and then only parity bits, that representation is known as systematic codes. Okay. Immediately after the message bits, parity bits are represented. That is known as systematic codes. Otherwise, if parity bits are inserted in between message bits, then that is known as non-systematic codes. So anyway, we'll discuss these types in the cyclic codes. And one thing you need to know is the format of representing the generator matrix G is nothing but it is a concatenation of two submatrices, that is I and P, where I is the identity matrix and P is the coefficient matrix. Don't worry about the sizes. Okay. Anyway, the sizes will be automatically, you will understand while we discuss about examples. Just remember how the generator matrix are represented and how the another matrix which is known as parity check matrix which is represented. So here parity check matrix is represented by H, which is used in the decoding process, and generator matrix is used in the encoding process. So H is represented with same submatrices, but first we need to represent with P transpose and I, where P is nothing but coefficient matrix, I is nothing but identity matrix. So from this analysis, you can conclude that to find the code word from the encoder by using linear block code, the final code word is simply obtained by just a matrix multiplication, that is M into Z. That's it. Okay. So from this, let us see an example. And another matrix representation which is mostly used is the parity bits, and how these parity bits are separately represented in the form of matrix multiplication. So the parity bits are also known as check bits, can be expressed as a linear combination of message bits, which is already explained in the previously, but it is an example. Practically we are observing here. So let us say the check bits, the parity bits are represented with check bits, so that letters C1, C2 are represented like this. So the parity bits can be represented as a linear combination of message bits. So let us say the message bits are M1, M2, M3 and so on. So the parity bits, first parity bit, second parity bit, third parity bit can be obtained by linear combination of message bits. For example, here we have taken the linear combination of M1, M2 bits. Here plus means XOR operation. Similarly, second parity bit will be obtained by linear combination of M2, M3 and so on. Right? So here the corresponding coefficients are represented by the coefficient matrix, that is P. That means when M1 is multiplied here, M1 term is there, M2 term is there, but M3 term is not there here. But you should write like plus 0 into M3. Similarly, M2, M3 are there, but M1 is not there. So that means 0 into M1 plus 1 into M2 plus 1 into M3. So that means these message bit elements are multiplying with either 1 or 0. So those values are known as coefficients. So the corresponding coefficients are represented by the coefficient matrix, that is P. Okay, that is already represented in the generator matrix. If you know the generator matrix, you can find P separately and you can substitute here. And these parity bits can be expressed represented by check bit vector or a parity bit vector, which is equal to M into P. So when you multiply message bits along with coefficients, automatically these equations will be obtained. Okay. For example, if C is the message bits, let us represent these values are C4, C5, C6, and message bit elements are represented as M1, M2, M3, because after message bits only parity bits will come. So that's why after M1, M2, M3, parity bits are represented as C4, C5, C6. So this will be obtained by matrix multiplication of M into P, where M is M1, M2, M3, and so on, and P is the coefficient matrix. The corresponding elements may be represented like this: P11, P12, and so on. So anyway, we will do this. We will see this explanation in the coming examples. Okay, in more clear way. So this understanding of any coding technique, whether it is a linear block code or a cyclic code, is only becomes easy when you consider examples and when you do more number of examples. So whatever I have explained previously up to now, so that explanation you can understand in a very easy way while you are looking at these examples. So the first example here it is. So you need to find the code word for a 7,4 linear block code with a given message vector and a generator matrix. That means message vector is given, and if the generator matrix is also given, so how to find the code word for this linear block code? So we know that for a 7,4 linear block code, you should know that n is equal to 7, k is equal to 4, so that the output must be having 7 bits and the input must be having 4 bits. So let us consider the input message bits, which is given as 4 bits. If the 4 bits are given like this, 0, 1, 0, 1, and let it be represented with some matrix. So that's why M is represented in the row matrix like this. Next, the generator matrix. Already generator matrix is by default given in the problem. So if it is given like this, this is what the generator matrix. Okay. So from this generator matrix, now we can clearly identify how the generator matrix is represented here. I along with P. Then you can clearly observe. That means identity matrix, after that coefficient matrix. So here what is identity matrix? This is what the identity matrix. This part is nothing but identity matrix. 1 0 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 0 1 0 and so on. So up to this is identity matrix, and the remaining matrix is nothing but coefficient matrix. You can say it as P. Okay. Anyway, that is not required here. Just to find out the code vector, we have a simple formula, that is x is equal to m into g. So just multiply this matrix m along with matrix G, so that final 7-bit code word will be obtained in a very easy way. So again remember that by in this matrix multiplication process, as you know that matrix is multiplied as the row is multiplied with every column here. So 0 into 1 plus 1 into 0 plus 0 into 0 plus 1 into 0, something like that. In that, whenever if you observe plus, so that must be assumed as XOR operation. Always keep in mind that. Okay. Right. This is very simple operation, just a matrix multiplication. So by using this matrix multiplication, we have calculated the code word for a single message vector. Like that, we can find all set of code words for all possible input messages. Okay, by using the above formula. If you know the generator matrix like this. Now let us see what will the other kind of problems will be asked. So obtain all possible code words for a 6,3 linear block code with generator matrix is given. Here, if you identify the problem, only the generator matrix is given, nothing is given. But you need to calculate all possible code vectors. If you want to calculate all possible code vectors, so that means if you want to know the code vector, and if you know the generator matrix, first of all you should know what is the message vector. If you don't know the message vector, you cannot calculate the code vector like this. So from the given data, you need to identify all possible values of message bits. Based on that, you can calculate all possible code vectors. Okay. So it is given that it is a 6,3 linear block code. So n is equal to 6, k is equal to 3. So that means we identified that the message bits are 3. If there are 3 message bits, so there will be 8 combinations of the message bits. For example, so 3 message bits means 2 cube, that is equal to 8. So what are the possible 8 combinations? By rearranging the 3 bits, you can have 0 0 0 0 0 1 0 1 0 0 1 1 1 0 0 and so on up to 1 1. So like that, we have 8 possible combinations of message bits. So for all these 8 combinations, for each and every combination, let us say this is m, m1, m2 and so on. For each combination, if you apply the same formula, then you will get 8 possible code words. 8 possible code words. So that is what they ask for. Obtain all possible code words and code vectors. For example, let us say the first code vector is x1 is equal to m1 into g, where m1 is nothing but first possible representation of message bits. So that is 0 0 0. So when 0 0 0 is multiplied with this generator matrix, automatically it will be all zeros. How many bits it should contain? 6 bits. N is equal to 6 means 6 bits, automatically it will be obtained. Similarly, for the next input combination, that is 0 0 1, so the next code vector, that is x2 is equal to 0 0 1 into z, where g is nothing but this matrix. So let us multiply this. 0 0 0 1 into this is what the generator matrix. So what is the matrix multiplication operation? Simply let us clearly observe one value here. 0 0 0, this row must be multiplied with this column. Okay, so what is the result? What is the result? And also identify the matrix sizes here. Then only you will understand what is the output matrix size. So here the size is 1 by 3 because it is a row matrix, and this size is 3 by 6. So if you want to multiply two matrices, the matrix size must be matched like this. So 3 3 is matched. So resultant matrix size is 1 by 6. So that means it contains a row vector with 6 elements like this. So that's why we have got all the code vectors of having 6-bit size. Now let us multiply this matrix multiplication. So 0 multiplied with 1, that is 0, plus 0 multiplied with 0, again 0, plus 1 is multiplied with 0, again 0. So always keep in mind that this plus sign represent XOR operation. So 0 XOR 0 XOR 0, again it is 0. So that's why the first element in the code word is 0. Similarly, the second element will also be 0. And third element, let us see the third element. So that means this row, when it is multiplied with third column, so 0 into 0, that is 0, plus 0 into 0, again 0, plus 1 into 1, that is 1. So which is equal to XOR operation of 0 0 1. When in the XOR operation, if odd number of ones come, then output will be 1. If even number of ones will be there, so output will be 0. So odd number of ones is here, only 1 is there. So odd number of ones, output will be 1. So that's why the third element will be 1. Like that, by multiplying this row with all these 6 columns, so 6 elements will be obtained like this. Okay, and keep in mind that the plus sign is nothing but XOR operation. So by matrix multiplication of these two, for every combination of inputs, you will get all the code vectors like x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, x6, x7, x8, and so on. So these are all the possible set of code vectors obtained from this 6,3 linear block code. Here, so this is very simple matrix multiplication. You can do it very easily. Okay, so like that, this is again the same explanation. So for all these input combinations, for every time to find all possible code vectors, we should multiply with this generator matrix, so that all 8 possible code vectors will be obtained. Okay, and if you look at the another problem, very important. So in this, for a 6,3 linear block code, the parity check matrix is given. Parity check matrix is given. Okay, it is like that, and you need to find the generator matrix and find the code word for a message input bit stream, that is 101. So first thing you need to identify is what is the size of the linear block code, that is 6,3. If it is 6,3, so there should be 3 bits in the message and 6 bits in the code word, that is the final output. So already message bits are represented with 3 bits only, and we should identify that final code word. After finding the code word number of bits must be 6. Now let us see. First problem is find the generator matrix. How to find the generator matrix from the parity check matrix? What is the procedure? As you know that both parity check matrix and generator matrix are represented with same sub matrices like this. Okay, so G is represented with I and P, and H is represented with P transpose and I. Now H is given in the problem. Based on that, identify what is P transpose, identify what is I, and identify P and I. So directly represent first I and then P, so that it will be generator matrix. So this is simple conversion. Now let us see in the problem. H is generally represented with P transpose along with I. So first identify I. It is very easy to identify identity matrix. So if you identify all these elements, so this part is clearly identity matrix. That is 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0. If it is I, automatically the remaining submatrix is P transpose. So if it is P transpose, so it is very easy to calculate P, just the transpose of these elements. So identify P and I, so that generator matrix is easily represented as I along with P. Now this generator matrix is represented here. So let us see this carefully. First write I. So this identity matrix is represented here. That is 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1. And in the next part, we need to represent with coefficient matrix, that is P. But here it is P transpose. So transpose of this again, so that it will be P. So transpose means represent columns in rows. So 1 0 1 must be represented in a row. 1 0 1 0 1 1 0 1 1 1 1 1 1 1. So this is G. So the first part is over. G is calculated directly. And second part is find the code word for the given message. So how to find the code word by using linear block code? Simply by using x is equal to m into G. That's it. Multiply this message vector and multiply the generator matrix from this representation. So that's why here I have multiplied message vector 101 multiplied with generator matrix, that is G, so that when you multiply this each row with each and every 6 columns, so you will get these 6 bits in the final encoder output, that is the code word. Okay, for example, if you verify 1 or 2, so when 101 is multiplied with 100, so 1 into 1, that is 1 plus 0 plus 1. So there will be only 1 is there in this summation. That means 1 into 1, that is 1 plus 0 plus 0. So only 1 is there. So XOR output is 1. Similarly, multiply this row with second column. So 0 into plus 0 plus 0. So 0. Next, multiply with third column, that is 0, 0, 1. So again 1 and so on. You can identify the final 6-bit code word. From this, it is clear that the first bits are nothing but message bits. So first 3 bits are nothing but message bits as it is. So same 101 must be obtained, and the next 3 bits must be parity bits. Next 3 bits must be parity bits, because all the linear block codes are represented in a systematic form only. Okay, that means the parity bits are added only after the message bits, right? So for these 3 bits, again 3 parity bits are added. Why only 3 parity bits are added? Because we know that number of parity bits is equal to n minus k. So 6 minus 3 is equal to 3 only. So that's why again 3 extra bits or parity bits are added to the original message bits. That is the final encoder output from the linear block. Similarly, if you observe another problem here, for a systematic 6,3 linear block code, the parity check bits, for example, what I have represented here, first message bits and then parity bits. This is the systematic representation of linear block. So in that, the details of C4, C5, C6, these parity bit values are given in the problem. For a 6,3 linear block code, the parity bits C4, C5, C6 are given by C4 is equal to some linear combination of message bits, and C5 is equal to M1 plus M2, and C6 is equal to like this. Now we need to calculate generator matrix and determination of all possible code words, and then find the error detection and correction capabilities of a code. This is very important. Error detection and correction capabilities of a code. First, we'll see how to construct the generator matrix. As you know that generator matrix is represented in this form, that is first I and then coefficient matrix P is represented. But of course, representation of identity matrix is very easy, but finding the coefficient matrix is our task. So how to find this coefficient matrix? We know that parity bits are represented as the linear combination of message bits. So although already we know that there is a relation between parity bits and coefficient matrix, that is C is equal to M into P, because we already represented that C is equal to M into P. So we are using the same formula here. Okay. So that is C. What are the elements in C? C4, C5, C6 is equal to multiplication of M and P. where m, what are the elements of m? M1, M2, M3. So let us assume the coefficients or elements of this coefficient matrix P will be P11, P12, P13, and so on like this. And when you multiply this row with column with 3 columns, so you will get 3 elements like this. So let us write the equations for C5, C5, C4, C5, and C6. So C4 is equal to, when this row is multiplied with first column, C4 value will be obtained. Similarly, this row is multiplied with second column, C5 value will be obtained. So like that, C4 is equal to M1, P11 into M1 plus P21 into M2 plus P31 into M3. Like that, which is equal to the same C4 value is already given in the problem, that M1 plus M2 plus M3. M1 plus M2 plus M3. Let us assume this plus sign is nothing but XOR operation. So that's why I'm not indicating with plus circle like this. Let us, by default, this plus is nothing but XOR operation. Similarly, write the equation for C5. That is P12 into M1, P22 into M2 plus P32 into M3, which is equal to C5 is given as M1 plus M2. Similarly, for C6. So from these equations, and by combining or by comparing the left hand side and right hand side, it is clear that from this equation P11 is equal to 1 here, and P21 is equal to 1 here, and P31 is also equal to 1, because 1 into M1, 1 into M2, 1 into M3. So all ones are equal to here with these coefficients. And from this equation, it is clear that P12 is 1, P22 is also 1, but there is no M3 term, so P32 is equal to 0. Similarly, P13 is equal to 1 here, and there is no M2 term here, so P23 is equal to 0 and P33 is equal to 1. So based on that, we identified all these elements of the coefficient matrix, so P value directly obtained based on this comparison and comparing the coefficients. So these are the direct representation of P. From that, we can easily write the generator matrix. So first I and then P. So here I am writing the generator matrix as I and P. First write identity matrix, that is 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1, and the coefficient matrix P is directly represented. So combined it is known as generator matrix. So the first part is over. Second part is determine all possible code vectors. This is a similar problem what we have already observed. So since the number of input bits are 3, so there will be 8 possible combinations of input bits, so that 8 possible code vectors will be obtained. Okay. So for all these 8 possible combinations of input bits, so there will be 8 possible combinations of code vectors starting from x0 to xm. So these are all the 8 possible code vectors already calculated. From this, how to identify the error detection and correction capabilities of the code. For that, as I already mentioned in the previous discussion, that for this error detection and correction capabilities, first we need to identify the D minimum. Based on the D minimum, you can identify how many errors it can detect, how many errors it can correct. So first find D minimum. So to find D minimum here, first we need to find all D values, that is all Hamming distances from all the successive code words. So from these two code words, how many bits they are different, that is nothing but Hamming distance. So here same, different, and different. So in 3 locations they are different, so Hamming distance is equal to 3. Again from this D equal to 4, and so on like this. So from all these, what is the minimum value of Hamming distance? That is 3 only, right? Only 3 and 4 values are there. So out of this, minimum value is 3. So D minimum is equal to 3. So based on this D minimum formula, S can be calculated as it's less than or equal to D minimum minus 1. So 3 minus 1, that is 2. Similarly, T will be D minimum minus 1 by 2. So that is 2 by 2, which is equal to 1. So S less than or equal to 2 and T less than or equal to 1. These two values indicate that this code can detect up to 2 errors. Less than or equal to means this is the maximum value. So up to 2 errors it can correct. Out of these 2 errors, up to 2 errors it can detect only. Out of these 2 errors, it can correct only 1 error. Okay. So that is the clear indication of error capabilities of the code. So from this, you can clearly find the error detection and correction capability. That means it can detect 2 errors, up to 2 errors. So it can correct only 1 error. That is the way of calculating the capabilities of a function, which is very, very important in all these coding problems. And finally, we have a decoding procedure. So in that decoding procedure, we have different steps. First step is from the received code vector y. What is the received code vector? So when the transmitted code vector is sent to the channel, in the channel there will be some noise. So due to that noise, some bits may be got errors. So that received error data is considered as y. So from the received code vector, calculate the syndrome vector. That is the first step. How to calculate the syndrome vector? Yes. So S is equal to y into H transpose. So when you multiply these two matrices, you will get S. Already we know what is H, and this is what Y. Multiply these two in this formula. Second step is if S is 0, that means S values are all are zeros, then we can say that there is no error. So based on the syndrome vector only, we can able to identify whether there is an error or not. So identification of error is entirely based on syndrome vector. So that's why it is known as syndrome decoding. So if S is 0, so it indicates no error. So if it is not equal to 0 only, then you can say that there is an error in the received code word. Of course, from this second step, we identify that there is an error in the received code word if S is not equal to 0. But we don't know where the error is, whether it is in this second bit position, third bit position, fourth bit position, we don't know. But anyway, we say that there is an error. But how to find the exact position of the error? So that is from point 3. So in syndrome decoding, all the rows of H transpose are equal to the syndrome vectors. Okay. So that means whatever the value of S we obtain, that value is equal to any row of H transpose. For example, if S is equal to 101, so that value must be matched to any of this row. For example, this is matched to second row, that is 101. So in syndrome decoding, all the rows of H transpose are equal to the syndrome vectors. Suppose if the syndrome vector is ith row of H transpose, then there will be an error in the ith bit position of the received code vector. For example, if S is matched to the second row of H transpose, so then there will be an error in the second bit position in the received code word. So here we calculated S is equal to 101. It is matched to the second row of H transpose. If it is second row, so there is an error in the second bit position. If it is matched to third row, so there is an error in the third bit position. So here in this example, it is matched to second row, so there is an error in the second bit position. So that's how from the received code word we identified exactly the error is in the second bit position. So that means instead of 1, it is receiving it as 0. So we need to change this and we need to correct this to 1 again. So for the error correction, the error can be corrected and decoded vector can be obtained by using XOR operation as X is equal to Y XOR with E. So by making an XOR operation, we will obtain the corrected code word, where E is the error vector corresponding to the error bit position. Okay, so here how to represent E? How to represent E here? Here E, that is the error vector, is nothing but, so after identifying the position of the error, it is identified that there is a error in the second bit position. So only in the second bit put 1 and the remaining bits will be 0. Okay, if you do like this, this is nothing but error vector. So if you identified there is an error in the third bit position, so make it is 1, remaining all are zeros. So when you make an XOR operation of this E and Y, automatically this second bit position will be corrected and the original transmitted code word is obtained as X. Okay, this is the procedure for error detection and correction by using syndrome decoding. Now we'll see with an example. For example, parity check matrix is represented, that is H, and assume that it is a 7,4 cyclic block code. And if the received code vector is like this, for example, this is the received code vector. Our task is from the received code vector, we need to identify where the error is and how we need to correct this error. So first, find the syndrome vector, that is Y into H transpose. So that is identified as 111. So this syndrome vector must be compared with the rows of H transpose or columns of H. So rows of H transpose means it matched to the first row only. So that means it is there is an error in the first bit position. So the error vector is identified as first bit position means it is 1, remaining all are zeros. So by making an XOR operation of this Y and E, automatically the corrected code word will be obtained. That means 1 XOR with 1 means automatically it will be 0. So this error will be recovered or corrected, and remaining bits are as it is. Okay. So based on this, just see an example. For a 7, it is 6, 3 only, write it as. For a 6, 3 linear block code, the generator matrix is given as G. So that find the parity check matrix and then decode the received code words. Here 2 received code words are given. We need to decode these 2 by using syndrome decode. So the first step is how to calculate the parity check matrix, because if you know the parity check matrix, then only it is possible to identify the errors and correction of errors. So, but it is G which is given. From G, how to find H? Because generator matrix is represented as I along with P. So we know this is I and this is P. So parity check matrix H is obtained by representation of P transpose along with I. So transpose of this P and write here. Okay. So 1, 1, 1 written in row. This column is written in row and this column is written in row, and then represent as identity matrix as it is. So H matrix is calculated in a very easy. Next, how to decode these code words by using syndrome decode. The first step is find the syndrome vector. That is S is equal to Y into H transpose. So let it be this is Y1 and this is Y2. First we'll do for Y1. So Y into H transpose is equal to this is Y and this is H transpose. If it is H, we need to transpose this here as H transpose, so that after multiplying these 2 matrices as we done in previously, so the result may be 1, 1, 0. This 1, 1, 0 you must compare with the rows of H transpose. You must compare with the rows of H transpose or columns of H. So here H is there, so just compare with the columns. So 1, 1, 0, there it is 1, 1, 0. Exactly it matched to the second column only or second row of H transpose. So if it is second row, so there is an error in the second bit position. So if there is an error in the second bit position, the error vector is represented as second bit 1, remaining all are zeros. So the corrected code word is X is equal to Y XOR with E. So when this Y is making an XOR operation with E, automatically the second bit will be changed. Remaining bits are as. So change the second bit from 0 to 1, because 0 XOR with 1 means 1. So 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0. So this will be obtained. And final decoded message bits will be obtained just by removing the last parity bits. The remaining bits are nothing but decoded message bits. Similarly for Y2 also, first find from the received code vector, find syndrome. Syndrome is matched to where it is matched. 1, 1, 0 is exactly matched to again second row. Okay. So there is an error in the second bit position. So XOR operation of Y and E automatically will give the corrected data. From this corrected data, decoded code word is nothing but by removing the parity bits, the remaining 3 bits are nothing but message bits. So this is what the complete explanation of linear block codes, both encoding and decoding procedures with clear examples. Okay. So in the next video session, you will find the lecture video on binary cyclic codes, both encoding and decoding, along with some examples. Okay. So thank you very much.